Nice bit of picture I saw there. Just want to see if this thing's working out okay, not stalling. Okay, so I am streaming at the moment a little bit earlier. So if anyone wants to test me, please feel free to do that. We'll start in about 3 minutes time, just with the signature tune and the lot. This is ZA6YI. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all on frequency. This is ZA6YI near Johannesburg in Kilo Golf 33 X-Ray Hotel, coming live with our normal Sunday DATV Net. Just want to do the following. Let's get this off. Sorry guys, I just want to, got finger trouble here today. And what, I can't even see. There we go. Right, firstly, a very warm welcome to our worldwide DATV Net today, every Sunday at 1400 UTC. We wish to thank the following institutions for their valued contributions. Qatar Satellite Company for providing the world's first geostationary amateur satellite. AMSAT DL for conceiving the idea and their technical assistance of placing an amateur satellite in a geosynchronous orbit, partnering with the Qatar Satellite Company. In particular, we must thank Dr. Peter Guzlo, DB2OS, who was the brain behind all of this. Then we also wish to thank the British Amateur Television Club, the BATC, for providing invaluable technical information and assistance on their fantastic site. AMSAT UK for providing the web-based receiving and wideband spectrum monitor as well as the chat box. We then wish to thank some giants in the field of DATV. Firstly, and it's in no particular order, they're all equally important. Everest, Fox 5 Ocean Echo Ocean for developing phenomenal software for the Pluto. Christian, Fox 5 Uniform India for his software developments. He was on just a bit earlier actually. And then to Paul, Mike Zero Echo Yankee Tango for his most valuable tutorials, clear and crisp and to the point, help many people. Jean-Pierre, Fox 6 Delta Zulu Papa for his work on the mini tuner. And then Dave, G8GKQ for his work developing the software for the ports down. And at the time as Secretary of the BATC, he's always at it, never stops, and always improving things. And to Dr. Michael Willis, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey for developing, or part of the developers of the Potty, and numerous PC board designs, a good advice giver, and also on the net today. Welcome again, Michael. And then to Simon Brown, a Golf 4 Echo Lima India for developing the SDR console software. Phenomenal software and a heck of a job. Thanks to you, Simon. Roberto, India Sierra Zero Golf Radio Bravo for software development, live streaming, and he was the first guy to do the YouTube live stream of this particular let, which is something that I've taken over since, but he made it all happen. Then Dominique, Fox 1 Echo Juliet Papa for developing nifty streaming software such as DATV Easy. Dominique never rests. He is continuously tweaking and improving the streaming software, and Al Martin will show us something about that now. He's on version 2.15, testing DATV Easy. Fantastic work, Dominique. It's really appreciated. Without the combined contribution of these distinguished radio amateurs, DATV as we know it would not have progressed as it has. Finally, to Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November for establishing this worldwide Sunday net, and to Sorrow, View 3 OBR for organizing the net and assisting many amateurs into getting onto DATV. I think Sorrow's call signs improved. It's VU2 OBR these days. Thanks to all mentioned above. We really appreciate it, and it's made this hobby really something to enjoy, and it's bringing back the original idea and concept of amateur radio, where interesting things are developed all the time, and the knowledge is freely shared and distributed, and people are encouraged to come on. We have now also got Matt on today, Mike Zero DQW, first time he's on our net. Matt, very well, a warm welcome to you. Matt can give a lot of publicity to DATV and amateur radio through his very, very interesting network on YouTube called Tech Minds. I don't think there's an amateur that's not looking at the wonderful programs Matt puts together. So well done there, Matt, and welcome aboard. With that, I'm now going to pass it to Martin, and you can tell us all about the new version there, Martin. You got the list there, by the way, just for those that haven't got the list or can't see it. It will be Martin, G8 KOE, followed by Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray Benno. Benno, you pass it to Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf. Tom to Ed, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Ed to Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. And then to Cape Town, or near Cape Town, ZS1 Mike. And Mike, if you, Leon, if you'd pass it all the way back to Matt. And Matt, you can pass it back to me. We'll see if there are any new guys on. Right, and let me just get the camera back on here, guys, so that I know where I am. So with that, we pass it to you as G0 King of England, Martin, from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee, India.
Right, I think we've got it. Good day to everybody. Yeah, I've got to see this audio coming back from little meters there. I've only just downloaded this morning DATV Easy 2.15, and I just uninstalled the old one, installed the new one, and so I can't tell you a lot about it other than it's working. I thought we'd just go for it. I think Benno's probably the better one that's following me, who's been playing with it for some time. One thing that was quite nice in the package, which I'd been meaning to get around to attempt to do, was the shortcut for OBS, which opens virtual camera when you launch it. So it's the tabs selected. So I kept forgetting to do that. It's something a number of amateurs did. But yeah, it's up and running. And seems to be working fine. Also updated OBS to 29.02, but still get the problem with the NVIDIA audio plugin arrangement that if you select those, it causes it to crash, which I think they said they'd cured, but not with me. The video side of things, in sort of removal of background, etc., you can select from within OBS, but not the other. Other thing I'd like to query, particularly with UK stations, is what size dish, etc., they're using, and what sort of LMB and feed. Is it the potty or is it helical? I'm deciding to revisit my dish. If I could get and use a smaller dish, it would fit neatly on top of the garage, which would make cabling to it a lot easier. Where it is at the bottom of the garden is it's a bit of a nightmare to get things all going. So it's be interested if people could sort of pass that information on to me. This morning, the beacon using Longwind Client was a good point, 5.1, D5.1, and MER of 9.8. But everyone's going to tell me they're getting far stronger signals than that, so I can quite believe it. Still using the little chat addition to QuickTune, which I think Tom's going to increase the size of the text, especially for me. Anyway, it's probably enough waffle from me. Not 2.4 channel master bullseye. Yes, well that's cheating. I've got yes, such a large dish. I can't manage the 1.8 that petal arrangement, which I don't think has ever been that efficient, and I don't think I'm matching it that well. But I can't. I'll read that in a minute. I think the mic's probably the safest point, but all good. Right, I'll pass it on. Scratching all my hair away. I'll pass it on to you, Benno, and you can fill in the good bits of DATV Easy. I keep finding lots of bits in OBS that are quite nice. That's 29, etc. Things like the camera settings. If you make adjustments there, it remembers them, which I think earlier versions didn't. But anyway, I'm waffling away. So I'll put a test card and pass it over to you there, Benno, and you can fill in all the technical bits that I've missed out. From Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Okay. Let's see if I have a camera somewhere along the line. I have audio at least running. Face cam. Yes, I have a face cam. Let's close the cupboard for the nice background. Hi. And we're there. Hello to the group, to the worldwide net. I see a lot of people are watching today. And I think that's nice. I actually put this also on the local repeater at the moment, where there is another ham. So I'm kind of got his together with him on the net on the local repeater. Anyway, yeah. Well, Martin, you basically gave me an idea to have a look on the net, on the share site for the beta testers. I only last week I got 14 from the beta site, and now I saw you have 15 running. So I started to think I have to have a look, and I found it. Fortunately, that's for beta testers only. It's a very early beta test status at the moment, so I don't want to put too much people looking there. But it seems that it works neat and nicely, and I quickly look if I can find a document telling us everything. Where is my document? Sorry for that, didn't prepare, because I thought Martin is doing that, so I don't have to cover it at all. Hi. Well, anyway, streaming and the easy, and we have somewhere a document with all the updates, which I quickly throw through the Google Translate. And I will see if I can get it on my screen. Let's see if this works. Let me put it over there. Oops. It's a mess. It's a mess, but I got it. So we are working at 2.12 is currently running, so I should look at 2.12, which was the current active version with a newer FFmpeg pack. And we got 2.13 and 2.14 with the max gain added, and also for the outdated NVIDIA card some support. And we already got to 15, and well, that's basically the whole story. I don't have to read everything what's on there, but you can see you have various updates, small issues, but also the latest FFmpeg and things like that. But also the choice of 5 IPs, and that would be nice. I have more Plutos on the network, so I might be able to swap around between the terrestrial ones and the satellite ones, because those are different. I understand 215 is available today on the forum. Okay. Well, I haven't seen that on that place. I'm looking always on a different spot where I got this. But at least it gives you an idea why you want it. It has the latest FFmpeg pack available and the latest in streaming support. So I think it's doing a great job. And we have to, well, you can decide if you're going to follow Dominic. Okay, well, that's an old picture from myself. Let me quickly put it back on my face cam. Where is my face cam? There it is. Okay, that's my face cam again. So that's about the story, and what else can I add to that? Next to what I was working on, and that is on my desk cam. That's basically this project. As a lot of you already know, I'm working on this setup, which has a write and currently running ports down with DVB-T to the local repeater. And behind this there is only a power supply and some antenna switching, but not much. And I am working on that part, which is the back, which is a big cooling and a lot of outputs and inputs. And on the inside you have, obviously the cabinets needs to go off. You have 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 23 centimeters and 13 centimeters amplification going to some relays for transmit and receive. And that's basically what I'm working currently on, to connect everything with a nice relay. But for the DC bands, I'm not going to use nice, very expensive relays, but use these metal ones, which I've heard people using it even on 13 centimeters. So it probably does 10 meters for me, and 6 meters and 2 meters and maybe even 70 and 70 centimeters. So those come on that, and the first plugs are here, which is basically 2 meters and 70 centimeters, running up to 60 watts in CW, in SSB. But doing about 10 or 15 watts on DATV, which is nice to have in one box. Well, that's basically the whole... sorry, wrong camera. I need a camera control. I need a group of people doing this kind of switching. Mike, sorry for that. Wrong camera. Well, quick overview. This box, big coolant, and some plugs on the back and on the front, which is on the cooling. A nice box with 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 23 and 13 centimeters, running up to about 60 watts per band. On 23 only 10 watts, but well, there's nothing better yet. And this will be, and I'm working out currently on this for with this kind of relays for antenna switching. Obviously for 13 centimeters I have a decent one, but for 10 meters, which is here, I can still use these. Okay, well, that's basically why I'm working on, and well, I will continue working on that for the next probably month or two before everything works. And Mike, I'm still thinking about you. I probably need your help somewhere along the line, because I'm going to make my own KiCad device for yeah, that was my idea. Those PCB relays are pretty good, up to 3 gig. I'm going to use it only to 23 centimeters and lower, so I think these are pretty okay. I think that's the idea, and you have the idea of where I'm trying to work on, and in the end of the day, let's see where we get. Putting back to the face cam. Now I am looking at the computer, so I know I'm back on the face cam. Hi. Microphone to my friend Tom. Tom, how are things? We really would like to have a bigger wideband chat fund. So what are you doing and what are you up to? And when can we expect new things to play with? Hi. ZS6 Tango Golf. ZR9? I'm not sure. Probably you know yourself, Tom. Microphone on to you. Putting a test card on and passing it on if I find one. Putting a test card on and putting it back to South Africa. From Papa Alpha number 3, Foxtrot.
Thanks there, Benno, Papa Alpha 3 FBX here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. Okay, my audio is working. Hello everybody on the net. Good to see everybody again. It's been a while from my side. Mostly work stuff. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry, yeah, Mike, I am on the light bit late. I'm not quite sure why things are. Haven't used it for a while. But yeah, looks like it's fine now. So here we go. Yeah, like I said, I've been away for a couple of weeks, mostly for work. I spent some time in Durban, then KwaZulu-Natal, and then this past week I've been in Cape Town. So it's not much time to make new toys and that. But I do have a nice to-do list, Benno, so I'll sort that out soon enough. Yeah, like I say, not much more from my side. Well, welcome to everybody and welcome to Matt. Good to see you on the net. I hope we see you more often on the net. I did manage to do one little fun thing though. You guys remember the chimney that I'm busy setting up for a mobile DATV? I've got one of the things, because it's a 4x4, I had to go do some 4x4 training. So I managed to squeeze in between the work trips a quick weekend getaway of playing with the chimney. And I got this nice photo. It's part of the training. We were going through various parts inside this nature reserve park and playing around. And you'll notice on that photo I've got actually got a 360 camera on there as well. and just an experiment to see how it would go. And I actually uploaded a little video. Let's see if I can. Well, it's on YouTube, but and you guys can check it out. But yeah, so that was basically the most exciting thing I've managed to get done, apart from working. So, but yeah, things should be back to normal again, and I can focus on getting the mobile DATV going, and then go play a bit more outside. Okay, sweet and short. I'm gonna hand it over there to Ed. Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Tom. It's been a couple of weeks. I don't do any transmission on the ATV, and we keep forgetting things. And also, I believe my Pluto or my PA got a little depressed because I need to put more driver power than I used to do. I put my name on the list for the net. Then I realized my signal was so low, I just removed it. I said, no DATV net for me today. And check antenna, I checked the box, and everything seems okay, but you know, the power, my signal level was too low, and then I just increased the power. I mean, and it went up. So not sure what happened. We are having lots of rain lately here because it's summertime down here in Brazil. Yeah, and we are getting lots of rain, lightning. So perhaps something happened there. But it seems okay now. If I put the necessary drive power, the signal seems okay. All right, guys. Nice to see you all. Hope everybody is okay. I do have something to show you guys. I got some new elements for my bird, and those are hard to find. I was glad to find it with a reasonable price. Those are 2.3 to 2.4 gigahertz. I got all set of 3 The first one 2.5 watts. I got also this one which is 25 watts, and I got this one which is 50 watts. So those are the original board elements. I tested all of them, working fine. So glad to find them. Those were used, but very hard to find those elements. Not easy, even new ones. The other thing is, you know, I just tried to revive the idea of IP over DVBS on the AMSAT forum. And the reason I did that is because I got this. Actually, I'm gonna do an open box live for you guys here. It's no, I think the camera is a little bit out. Oops, I closed the camera. What is what is this? This is VSAT modem. It does IP over DVBS 2, and the reason I bought them, is because they cost about 10 to 15 euros. They are brand new. They have here like the TX out, RX in, network, and yeah, they are programmable. What I'm trying to find now is some modification or something that could be useful. At the first view, the minimum bandwidth they place 2.5 meg, which is too high here for this transponder. Not sure if you can do lower. The other thing is that those VSAT modems, they work connected to a hub or a VSAT router, as you wish. I'm not sure if they're gonna work point to point. That's another test I'm gonna run as soon as I get some time. And yeah, it'd be fun. And I saw that Everest F5 OEO is also playing with IP over DVBS, but using software, which is a good option as well. Yeah, those VSAT modems are quite cheap here. I don't know why, but you can find about 10 euros or 15 euros each one. And as you could see, that they are brand new. Well, if it's useless, at least the box and the power supply is 24 volts, by the way. So only for the box and the power supply, I think it's gonna be useful for something. All right, I think that's it. So let me get back to the list where I'm gonna send it to Mike. Golf 0 Mike Juliet Whiskey. So sending back to you, Mike. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Over.
Turn on the audio. Thank you, Ed. Good to see you again. Actually, good to see everyone again. And I've not been on for a while. I noticed the sun's coming out here. It might come across the camera lens fairly soon and cause some issues. Incidentally, you mentioned your signal was weak, Ed. It wasn't, as far as I could tell, but there was quite a lot of QSB on it. And I know you have a low elevation angle, so maybe something like that. Who knows? Anyway, just a few comments on a few things before I show what I was going to show. Martin asked about the dish size, and
I mentioned my dish is 2.4 meters, and his is 1.8, and a lot of people are using 1.2. 1.2 is probably the optimum, actually. It's a law of diminishing returns. As you get more and more gain on receive, you don't get any better signal to noise ratio because it's dominated by the transponder noise floor. So the signals that are coming in the uplink basically are limiting what your carrier to noise ratio is overall. So there's not much point going above 1.2 meter. You'll only gain maximum of 1 dB. Even a 30 meter dish might only gain another dB. So no need to use a large dish. Going the other way though, you very quickly lose things as you go below 1.2, down to 1 meter and 90 centimeters. And 90 centimeters is a realistic minimum unless you start doing things like high FECs, quarter rate FEC. The other issue is on the uplink, of course, and that is where it does make a difference. So basically you're trading RF power for dish gain. So whereas a 1.2 meter dish user has to transmit, say, 40 watts, I have to transmit 10 watts to get the same level into the transponder because of the difference in dish gain. So that's where it matters. But as long as you've got enough power, and I'm just going to check actually, I was going to have a look at my power monitor, and yeah, I'm actually running more than normal. I'm running 12 watts at the moment. That's 12. I think probably other people are running more because they're using a smaller dish. DATV Easy, I noticed Dominic's released a new version of that. That looks really good. So I've downloaded it and I haven't done anything with it yet. You probably know, those people who know me, I use a script rather than Dominic's package, which basically is the scripts combined into a sort of a package with lots of support for other things. What else? Nice elements that you had there, Ed. I know they're expensive. I've looked for them. I've not seen any for this particular band. So if you can get them, get them. And you had 3, so that's probably half the world's supply that you've got there. So very good. And IP DVBS, yeah. I was going to mention, but you mentioned anyway, that Everest F5 OEO has been doing some experiments using the Pluto. And I think the problem with those modems is the bandwidth. We can't have more than 4 people probably using those on the transponder at any one time. Whereas if we can do it in 333 kilosymbols or something, admittedly not as a higher rate, but it should work. So that's a really interesting development. Now, what was I going to... oh yes, and sorry, I almost forgot to mention the camera that Tom has put on his car. I mean, the picture looked rather dramatic. It looked like you were flying through the air, going over a jump. The video, you see, appeared to be a little bit slower. But I'll have a look for that YouTube thing when you put the link in there and see what you've put up. Looks really interesting. Got a bit away. I've not really done anything, but I did then remember what arrived whilst I was away. So let me go onto the bench camera and show you what's on the bench. And really, there's an SDR on there, which is one of the cheap SDRs. But the thing to look for is this, which is the Caribou Light. Which may or may not focus. Let's see. Is it going to focus? I'll use the manual focus. So that is a new SDR, which has finally, after many months of delay, turned up. And initial results are promising. It's actually sitting on top of a Raspberry Pi Zero. So it plugs into a Raspberry Pi, and you can use it as an SDR, and it covers pretty much all the bands we're interested in, up to 6 gigahertz. So very nice. At the moment I have not succeeded in getting it to do anything, and that's because the software isn't ready yet for the Pi Zero. If I had a spare Pi 4 around, which I guess I do have, but it's currently doing duty in the ports down, or the ride, I could perhaps do one of those, but there's still some issues with the software. These have only just started arriving in people's mailboxes, so I'm sure they'll be working on that. But that's really it's exciting, not necessarily because it's an exciting new SDR, which it is, but things like the Lime, the new version of the Lime SDR, which we're using for DATV via QO-100 and on terrestrially, and also the Pluto are getting quite expensive. Pluto not so bad, but the new Lime is going to be very expensive, and this is all due to the cost of components. So when I get that working, I'll report on how well it works. And Matt has probably already got one and already got it running. So we will wait and see. Anyway, that's enough from me for this over at least. Let's pass it on. And I guess it goes over to Leon. So over to you, Leon. ZS1 Mike G0MJW.
Is off. Okay. Happy birthday, Gary. Belated happy birthday. So I haven't followed much of the overs because I have a very important visitor here today. So I'm going to give it to Matt, and maybe I come back later if you guys are still around, but I won't be joining right now. So thanks for watching. Mike 0 DQW for the group. Matt, take it from ZS1 Mike in Worcester.
Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, you can. Okay, so it's my first time on the net, as you guys probably know. So I'm Matt, M0DQW, just making sure that I've got no feedback audio coming through here. So, yeah, thank you to everybody on the net, and thank you for letting me join today. DATV is very, very new to me, and it's been interesting getting all the gear working. I pretty much had everything already, apart from an amplifier. I had a 30-watt amplifier, which I tried with my 1.2 meter dish, but that didn't really work very well. So I managed to get an amplifier made by somebody here in the UK, and it seems to be working quite well, which I'm pleased about. I'll just show you actually what I'm using, just because I think Martin mentioned about what size dishes people were using. So if I show you this, so that's the dish that I'm using. It's a 1.2 meter dish, and I'm using a Helix on the bottom. Oh, you can't really see it very well because there's that in the way. So I've got a Helix there from, I think it's DO8PAT or something like that call sign. He sent me one of those to try out, and I'm using a Bullseye LMB as well. Just a quick mention actually, I'm using NVIDIA broadcast and having a bit of a blur on the background. Do you think it's better without the blur? So let me just turn off the blur. and you can see the difference between without blur and blur. So that's without blur. I actually quite like it with the blur, but I know that some people might not like it. So I don't know what looks better. It depends. Yeah, that's probably right. So just talking about the amplifier that I'm using. So that was made for me by a guy, Jim N7. It's a G7 NTG. I can show you that as well. In fact, here, this is actually a live cam of my amplifier with the Pluto connected. This is in the conservatory in the garden. The camera is just one of those ESP32 wireless cams that's just on a tripod and being fed with a 5-volt USB supply, just so I can keep an eye on it. Obviously, I just want to, I mean, nobody goes in the conservatory, so it's fine. It's not like someone's going to go in there and tinker with it, but it's just so that I can keep an eye on it while I'm transmitting. So I have the Pluto, and then I have the Leo Bodner strapped to the top, and then it's an SG Labs little preamp, and then that goes into the amplifier. And I have about 10 meters of about 10 meters of Formula Zero coax, which then goes off to the off to the Helix. I'm going to be changing that coax soon. I'll change it to I think it's some LDF I think I've got coming. I think Jim's sending me some, and I'll drop that down to about 5 meters. I haven't actually got a way of checking the power output. I don't have a meter to see exactly how much sort of power that I'm running. But it's working. I keep an eye on my MER value and the D value, and just keep an eye on to make sure that it looks okay. Hopefully that everybody can hear me okay. So Mike mentioned, just looking at my notes here, do you know what, actually, just before just before the nets, just before I let's turn off that blur then, just so that you can see it without the blur. It was really because over here, this area here, I don't know if any of you guys sort of know my YouTube channel, but I do a lot of reviews on products and things, and in fact there's a product just there that I'm just in the process of doing a video on. So this area here, this white area, is basically where I have some lights, and I set up a camera and I do all my recording for my videos sort of there. So there's a bit of a glare coming off on the camera, which is why I thought the blur might help, but I'll leave it off. So Mike showed the Caribou SDR. Now I have seen those and I don't have one, so I am very jealous. I need to get one because I do have a lot of SDR stuff, and I do like experimenting with all the different SDRs. But yeah, it's good. It looks good. It'd be interesting to see what you can do with it. I'm not too sure how I order one. I'll have to investigate. Right. Just a quick observation, actually, as this is all quite new to me. One of the things I've noticed, I use a 1.2 meter dish, as I showed you in the picture earlier, and I use the Helix for transmit. And I've noticed that the beacon, I get around 10 dB on MER or MER. I don't know how you pronounce it or how you say it. Is it MER? I get around 10 dB with it off, completely removed. So it's just the bare LNB. And then when I put the Helix on, it drops down anywhere between 7 and 8. So I'm just wondering, what does everybody else use for their transmit? Do they find, do you find that you get less attenuation with a potty, or do you use 2 dishes, or do I just get a bigger dish? Do I get a bigger dish for receive, or not. Although that's interesting what Mike was talking about the size dishes. Right, anyway, enough waffle for me. Thanks again for letting me join, and I'll continue watching. So I'll put it over to Gary, ZS6. Oh, just actually before I sign it over. So in the picture that I showed you of the amplifier and the Pluto, I needed a way of controlling the power to the preamplifier board, and I'm sure most of you are probably doing that. Just leaving DATV easy or DATV easy running, or whatever you're using to broadcast, and then just turning off your preamp. And so I'm using a little 433 megahertz controller with an on and off on it, and that literally just turns off the power to like an old CB power supply that feeds it. So as soon as I press the off button, that's it, it goes. And I'm using DATV Easy version 2.15 as well today. So it seems to be working okay. It was only up till yesterday. All my other testing was with the other version 2.12. So hopefully it's working. Right, over to Gary, ZS6YI from M0DQW.
Okay, very good, Matt. I just want to bring in Phil, who joined us a bit later. That is Mike Zero PIT. Good day to you, Phil. Will you take it over and you pass it back to me, and then we'll comment. Mike Zero PIT from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee, India.
Good. Right, it's a bit better. I think I can hear myself. Yep, that sounds good. Get rid of those. Afternoon, chaps. First time on the net for me. I'm actually testing a new PA. It's just a Nokia palette, but I did the mods yesterday, and I thought I'd give it a go because I've been playing around with it. I thought, well, I'll join the net. My setup here is a 1.8 meter dish. It's got a potty on it, but the dish is an old second-hand dish, and it's made of 6 segments, and they're not very well aligned. So on receive, I've actually got a lens on it, and that actually gives me about 1.5 dBs extra. But it's quite an old dish, and maybe I should get rid of it at one time. But we'll see how it goes. Ports down. I'm using the ports down, which you might be able to see sitting there. So that's a ports down going into a line. I'm running OBS. Now the difference here with you guys is that everything I run is Linux based. And I'm running RTMP. I'm streaming straight out of OBS into an FFmpeg script, and then into ports down. I'm not using virtual CAN. I only have one machine which is Windows based, which is sort of there for when everything else don't work, and it's sort of emergency purposes, but I don't like using it. As I say, everything here is Linux based. What else? Yeah, I think that's really about it. I listen to you guys quite a bit. Not normally in a position to transmit, purely because all my kit is up here in the house, and the PA is down the garden in a little wooden box, and I have to run the feed through the window at the moment. During the summer, I'm going to bring it in through the eaves and then bring it straight up here, and then I'll be able to go on the net a bit more. I think that's really about it. You don't want to hear too much about me. So I think I shall hand it back to you then, Gary. So ZS6YI, I'll hand it back, and this is M0PIT.
Okay, very, very, very good there, Phil. Lovely signal. And welcome aboard, Hugh and Matt. Also wish to welcome Matt. Beautiful signal, Matt. Really, for a first time, fantastic. So you've obviously got everything working out very, very well. And so do you there, Phil, with your Linux. All working great. So fantastic to have two new faces on our net today. I just want to say hello to Martin, Ocean November 4 Alpha Alpha Hotel. He always clocks in on YouTube. Hello, Martin. Nice to have you on as usual. And to Stuart, Zulu Romeo 6 Whiskey Tango. Hello, Stuart. Nice to have you watching as well there. And we certainly hope to see you on DATV in a not too distant future. Of course, my old friend, Matthias, Delta Delta 1 Uniform Sierra. Hello, Matthias. We had a chat this morning, actually, on WhatsApp. So lovely for you to be on here as well. I know you're watching. And very shortly, I believe Matthias will be on DATV again. He has, of course, been on. So it'll be lovely to have you back on. Right, going down the list. It's nice to see you again, Mike. And, of course, it's not the same if you're not here, I can tell you. And Martin, very interesting on the new version 2.15, I think it is. Yeah, I need some glasses, guys. I'm getting old now. And to you, Benno, excellent picture today. Audio, perfect, nice and colorful. Don't know what you did, but it's really made a big difference. And then Tom, nice to see you again. Yeah, I'm glad you took the yellow machine out for a test drive. And it was nice to see you the other day, just before Christmas, wasn't it? In that beast. Lovely vehicle indeed. Ideal for visiting repeater sites, I can tell you. And then Ed, yeah, no, you put through a whopping signal. You were very strong. And then you turned it down, obviously. So perhaps there's a spider's nest or something in your potty. You might just have to go and clean it out, but it's working very well indeed. Mike, yeah, nothing new, but there was always something new from Dr. Willis, or Mr. Willis. Always good to see you on, Mike, and you help make the net. You've always been with us from the beginning. Leon, yeah, he had no audio, so I quickly texted, sent him a WhatsApp. And I don't know who the important guest he has, but good afternoon to the important guest. It's a pity, welcome to Leon, but Leon should have brought you into the shack there. And again, Matt, lovely to see you. I don't know, I've had the very same question about the blur and not the blur. I don't use the blur as such. I do it with my camera by changing the f-stop and the depth of field. But so I just opened it up and I took the little curtain I had hanging behind me, took that off. I don't think it's as good as seeing it with at least some of the shack in the background. And once again, Phil, great over from you too. Lovely to meet you on this band via DATV. So with that, we'll go another over and then we'll call it a day. Golf 8 KOE, Martin from ZS6. Oh, Martin, sorry. I tried to download that program we were talking about last week. That's an add-on to OBS. It downloaded perfectly, but I can't seem to get my camera on. And the reason is it's showing a different rate. I think it's 60 frames per minute or something. It's American standard. And I just can't get the thing to receive my camera. I put another stream through. It works beautifully. So maybe you could, I tried to get you on WhatsApp, but it doesn't seem as though you are on. But if you can email me the exact link where I can download that program, maybe you've got a different version, and then that should be able to work. But anyway, that was part of the issues I had trying to play with NVIDIA Broadcast. Right, so perhaps you can help us there, Martin. G8KOE and the rest of the net to follow from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Right, I think we're back again. Oh, can get rid of that text now, as everybody knows what we're running. Yeah, the meters are moving. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that up there anymore. Yeah, and thanks to you there, Mike, for the information on the dish size, etc. It's very interesting indeed. Yeah, I'm hoping that I could squeeze a 1.2 in. I'll do some more measurements, but it would mean that I could stick the PA in the garage and feed a bit of helix up to it, which would work out exceedingly well. So that's my task the next couple of months to have a look at that. And to you there, Matt, blur off. I think I don't like blur actually. Personally, or if it's got to be very subtle, I think. But I suppose it's nice to see the bits and pieces in the background. It's good. What I will do is it's a bit out of date and not in a particularly good order, but a bit of video shows my dish. That's what the shack used to look like anyway, and it's one of those dishes that I've got. Which we assembled and now sits down the bottom of the garden in that position. Okay, it keeps changing colour. Well, I did spray it at one point, but it's tucked in. And underneath you can see a box just about. That's the box, which is where the PA, etc. in. That's the LMB that I modified, which was and that's the dish feed and the final dish feed. God, it's going a bit faster than I should have looked at it, and that was just modified. But anyway, it gives you that's bits and pieces in the garage, which are sort of remotely controlled as such via web interface. This is speed sort of pictures, I think. It just shows I wasn't prepared at all for this. That's the PA I'm using. I'll put a little this little bit on the potty there. Anyway, the sound is all out of sync, and that was the box with nothing in it. And that's the box with some bits in it. Well, the PA is changed a little bit different, but anyway. If you can keep up with the pictures, and that's the rack in the garage at the moment. I've got various old PC cases with 77s, etc. And the little dish at the front is a separate one, which has got a little feed. Oh, and that's the receiver out at the bottom of the garden. I think that's enough. I'm getting quite seasick here. Let's go back to me. I'll try and do better with that. I've got a much better video of that. But yeah, all the stuff that's in the garage is controlled. Let's see if we can go over to which one will I click on? Let's put that one on. I can see that I'd forgotten to put the sound on. He says, yep, we're back there. I was going to say, this little meter here should be moving. And I can realise I was waffling away whilst on the other screen without it moving at all. So that's just stuck on the end of the receiver. There's something else that I was suggesting Tom added to his receiver, which is lurking around here somewhere. So there it is, just to prove that I have got it here as well. With other signals up, and that thing seems to have dropped off a little bit. But anyway, beacon's not as strong at the moment. Get rid of that. Go back to me. And to you there, Gary. Yeah, I'll try to sort some bits and pieces out and send you another link. Yeah, I haven't joined the WhatsApp group. Perhaps I should. Then you'll be able to annoy me. But I'm actually on WhatsApp, but not on your group as such. Right, good to see everybody. And sorry to you there. You said Brighton's going again now. Benno, for lumbering you. I didn't realise that I had a later version than you'd got. It just appeared this morning, so I downloaded it, shoved it on, and I know Mike does all the clever twiddly bits, but my brain won't handle it. It's nice just to be able to use the preset settings and just go with those. And certainly down as far as 66 it worked, but I think it goes down lower now, if I remember seeing some of the burb. But I will give that a test at some stage. Right, it's lots of waffle, and apologies for the speed pictures. I will do better next time. Round to you there, Benno, and good to see everybody from G8KOE.
Oops. This is a bug I recently already had met with 214, and it happens to me occasionally. Well, anyway, I'm back. I'm not sure what happened just, but it happened to me already a few times with 214, the previous version, and that is that my Easy says I'm transmitting. I have two green LEDs. I have data running, and still my Pluto says no, I'm not going to transmit this. And I just have to restart, press on the start plus button on the DATV Easy to correct it. So I think somewhere along the line I'm losing the signal, and I need to restart it. Well, anyway, that's the reason why I was a few seconds later. Great for M0DQW didn't put the name in his chat box, so I know who TechMinds is, but I don't know who he is. Hi. I forgot to write down his name. Anyway, thank you, Chris, if I'm the only one. I hope so. Then it's just my own problem, and I get it organized. For my dish, I have running a 1.8 meter dish, about 10.5, 11 dB on the beacon for the mare, and which is pretty similar and expected. And I have played around on mobile with 1 meter dish, which is working great, Matt, but I should say, not everyone is as strong as it should be. Some of us want to play with higher FEC rates, and if you're going with 1 meter size, if you have a little bit tree or a little bit less signal, you have a problem already, and therefore 1 meter is as small as possible. 90 centimeters is possible, no problem, but you will lose some signals of some stations because they are just higher FEC or lower signal strength. Well, that's basically the dish size. By the way, you are running with a helical in front of your, which is good for transmission, but it's bad for receiving because your receiver is looking to a bunch of metal copper wire in front of it, and it will take down your receiving bit at least a few dB. That was at least my experience. So I'm using a POTI, which is optimum for receiving, and which is less so for transmitting. So I use normally typically around 20 watts on my output, just to overcome a little bit my cable length and POTI POTI problems, if I would say. But then again, you have to decide. It's always a combination antenna is always a how do you say that? It's never optimum for both. If you have one antenna for transmitting and receiving, so you have to choose if you want an optimum transmitting or an optimum receiving antenna, and that's why you are using a helical, which is fine. And I know a lot of people with helicals have a little bit less receiving possibilities. But then again, if it works for you, why bother to change it? Hi. Martin, I wasn't aware that 215 was online, but I see by now everyone has downloaded who wants it on the Viva DATV site. If you're getting on there, I have to maybe I can look why, but I think I will. I think 215 is doing a great job, and it's really nice. And there are a lot of intermediate steps by Dominic before he comes here, and I know there are a lot of beta testers asking great stuff to him. So I know he's doing a 24/7 job in the meantime, and I have found that he's doing a lot of testing himself. So I suspect a lot of changes within soon for the next update and the next update and the next update. Well, in the end of the day, my picture is easy and it works, and that's the whole coverage of DATV Easy Hi. Okay, well, that's all for now. Greetings, guys. Great stuff. IP over DVB-S2, not yet. Wonder why, but maybe in a few months I get another idea. But I don't. There is no need here on yet. And Tom, great driving, great video as expected. And I know you are going to do stuff not halfway. Aye. Well, what else to add? Nothing, I believe. I know there are some updates, Mike, with the SDR, and I wonder what the pricing will be. If it's a line pricing, I don't think so yet. But in the end, maybe. Well, never. Future will know. Hi. From Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray, passing on to Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf. From Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray.
Thanks, Benno, Papa Alpha 3 FBX. This is Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. Definitely a rusty today. but it all seems to be good now. Very interesting net, which is great to see everybody again, and like I say, I'll be back more often now again. Yeah, and welcome to Matt and Phil on the net. Great signals from both of you. And yeah, Matt, in terms of the dishes, I'm running 2 dishes myself, one for RX and one for TX. Well, I've actually got 3 dishes on there because I've got it set up 2 receiving dishes, narrowband and wideband, and then I used a big dish, the 1.8 meter for DATV and narrowband transmissions. So I did finding it definitely has a bit more of a signal drop than the potty, but I've got the space and I had the dishes, so it was easier just to separate them all, and then it's also easier to experiment, and I don't need to mess with my transmit while I'm tinkering with the receive and stuff. And looking forward to seeing you guys more on the net. Benno, yeah, always good to see you, and I missed a bit from that gadget that you showed, but it looks very cool. Martin, yeah, it's been interesting, all of the stuff that you've been sharing with your experiments with the DATV. I've watched on the previous nets as well, and I need to start playing with the DATV easy. My setup's working, so I haven't been wanting to fiddle, so I haven't really done much with it, but I need to play with it a bit more. And Ed, always good to see you there, and yeah, some nice slugs you've got there. Mike, yeah, I'm jealous. I've also got a Caribou on its way, but this is South Africa after all, so no signs of it, of having received it yet, so we'll see. Leon, good to see you, even though you ran off there. And then Matt, yeah, like I say, I hope to see you on more nets in the future. And you had some, I enjoyed, it was your last 2 YouTube videos I enjoyed quite a lot, especially the Vara one. And then what was the other one I was watching, the other one this morning? It's eluding me now, but yeah, I enjoyed them both. So yeah, keep it up there, very interesting. Hope to see a bit more DATV videos on there. And yeah, thanks for doing that video on the Longman client there, much appreciated. And Phil, yeah, really good signal from your side as well, and hope to see you on the net a lot more as well. Okay, that's it from me. I should hopefully have some more interesting stuff on next week again. No traveling for a while, so should have some playtime in between. Okay, I'm gonna hand it back there to Ed. Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November, here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. 73 guys, have a good week.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. By the way, it was nice seeing you, not seeing you, making a QSO with you through not a Leo, but a Mio IO117. I think we did a QSO a few weeks ago. Very nice. And since you guys are talking about dish sizes and stuff, I just sharing my roof camera. It's this is the location where I keep my aerials for satellite, not only for QO-100 but also for the Leos and Mio. In the case of Mio, is a green cube. Yeah, well, the 3 dishes, the 3 bigger dishes you see there are for QO-100. The one is just in front of the ladder that I was using to fix. my preamp for 32 megahertz, which got damaged by lightning. So I just put the ladder there, and I do what I'm doing right now with the antennas, and try to fix them. Yeah, those are the preamps, you know, sitting on behind the antennas. Yeah, the first one at the left side is the reception for the ATV. It's a 1.5 meter prime focus dish. It has only the LNB. Nothing in front of the LNB, like I think Benno said. I mean, if you're not using a potty, I just use helix here. I don't use potties. So if I put a helix in front of the LNB, it will attenuate a little bit my reception, which is a case of life or death here for me, because I have very low elevation. It's only 7 degrees. As you can see, I have also like a type of hill in front of the antennas there, you know, I count those trees will not grow much higher, otherwise I may lose signal, mainly for the ATV. SSB is less critical, but the middle one is for SSB, transmission and reception. The Pluto is on the top of the arm, which is supporting the helix and the LNB. Inside there is the Pluto and the small amplifier. And the right one, the bigger one, is 2.3 meters prime focus dish, meshed dish. And it has a helix in front of it. So behind the big dish, there is, I don't know if you can see at the bottom right side, it's a box where the Pluto and the Nokia amplifier sits. Power is about 40 to 50 watts at the moment. Yep, so that's my, let me bring those antennas down again. That's my aerials for satellites, and sometimes I get something not aligned because of high winds and stuff like that, so I have to go up and try to realign everything. This place is just above my head. Yeah, my shack is located below this rooftop. All right, guys, thank you very much. I wish to welcome the newcomers to the net. Mike Zero Delta Quebec Whiskey, Matt. Great transmission, great audio. Your audio sounds exactly like in your YouTube channel, so it's very nice audio. Great image. Thanks for joining the net. Welcome. Also to Phil. Mike Zero Papa India Tango, great image. Your audio is a little low, Phil. Maybe I think your microphone is located too far from you. So we can hear lots of room echo, but your voice sometimes gets too low. So maybe increase the gain. I think it will become worse because it will increase the room noise. So maybe you should get like a microphone closer to you. Maybe it's gonna be better. So, but anyways, thanks for joining the net and welcome. Gary, thanks a lot for coordinating again the net, and thank you everybody. Martin, Benno, Tom, Mike, Leon, and hope to see you guys next week. So passing to Mike, Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Okay, just give it a little time to settle. Hopefully you'll be getting a picture from me and some sound. Right, okay, that was very interesting, Ed. I can't compete with that. I've got a picture here of my dish that is quite a few years ago. It was set up like this. Now it's actually got the a different feed on it in that picture. I've replaced it with another one. At least I think I have. It might be that feed still that I have on there. So there were various different designs of potty trying to achieve the same result in different ways before we settled on the final one. And there is a 4-port LNB that's been modified to take an external reference power and H and V. Unfortunately that died and stopped working after a while. It became unreliable. So I had to replace it with another one. Anyway, what I was going to do next is show a few pictures of various things. So let me just sort out which ones to go to and switch to another picture. Incidentally, that video of the dish used to be a good test of encoders because it used to lock them up. Right, so this is the actually that's when it was looking a little bit more tidy than it is now. The temporary setup that's been temporary from quite a while. There is a Pluto, which you can probably see, a network connection, a 12 volt power supply, and a Leo Bodner. That Leo Bodner is no longer there, it's no longer in use. A power splitter, for RF, that is. A 12 volt power supply, and the purple thing with two fans on it is my stealth microwave amplifier, and the little Arduino is the power monitor. Now in the middle of that you can see something called Vortex Star, and you might think that was a Vortex Star receiver. It's not. It's the box from a Vortex Star receiver which had the prototype Winter Hill built into it. So that's what that was. Now I've got some more pictures here, so I'll do them on the desktop. Firstly, that is the other feed, the elliptical feed, and I think that's possibly the one I'm using at the moment, which you can see. Incidentally, it's got a Rexolite lens in it. Rexolite is a type of plastic that you can machine and does a very good job as a lens. An HB9 PZK, I think Willie, decided to help us all out by designing one of those lenses, and that's what that is. And I think Tom, not Tom, no, G4DBL made that lens. Right, let's have a picture of something else here. Here is the view. That is the view towards the satellite, taken on the day when the sun was exactly behind where the beam is, and it's just skirting the trees. The trees are a bit of a problem. The other thing you can see is I spent a lot of money on the radome. I've tried various types of plastic bag, and a particular one by Iceland came out as the best one. That's a Tesco's bag, which probably won't mean very much to most of you. But the only other thing that might be worth looking at is, you can see the dish there, it's 2.4 meters. It is mounted in half a cubic meter of concrete. It should be in a cubic meter of concrete, but it doesn't get all that windy here. On a pole, which is a 6 3/4 inch pole, and it has got bolts to adjust it. Very, very fine adjustments. That you've got to point it. It's very difficult to point because it's so sharp at 10 gigahertz. But that's the sort of mount you need for a 2.4 meter dish. Versus, I think Martin showed us what he thinks he needs to hold down his 1.2 meter dish. I don't know if that's actually what he's still using. It actually looked a little bit less mass than I would have used, but it's probably perfectly adequate. I've got another dish with a non-penetrating mount that I just put some paving slabs on, and that is sufficient to hold that down. But you work out what the wind load is on one of these dishes. You need a very substantial thing to hold it down. And the other thing is, of course, if it moves, it goes off the satellite. So it has to be incredibly rigid. So you're much better off with a smaller dish, unless you have a very substantial mount and can point it very accurately. The reason the potty and the helix are different is the potty doesn't block the 10 gigahertz signal, but it is, because it's a patch, it's optimum for an F over D of about 0.5. Now my dish is 0.6, so that's okay, but a lot of satellite dishes are 0.7 or 0.75. At that point you start to lose quite a bit of efficiency, and you need something like a 5-turn helix to make the best use of the dish. What you could do though is you could simply use a 1.2 meter dish with a potty feed and turn the power up, because it's less efficient if you've got sufficient power. If you had, say, you had a 100 watt amplifier and you only needed 50 watts, then that's probably a good solution. But if you're strapped for power, then you'd be better off optimizing it using a helix. And the other thing is, I saw Matt had a picture there of what looked like a 23 SEMS Yagi, a loop Yagi. There's no reason at all why you could not use, say, a box of 4 loop Yagis on 13 SEMS as your uplink instead of a dish. It would have just the same gain and take up a lot less space probably, or at least be less visually distracting. Right. Anyway, great to see everyone this week. It's been away for a while, and I hope everyone has a good week. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I will pass it. Oh, I nearly forgot. Phil, really good to see your pictures. Welcome to the net. I'm really curious as to what that big thing behind you was that looked like it might have been an audio mixer or something. I don't know. Had some headphones on it. Anyway, with that, 7-3 everybody, and Leon said he'd stick around, so let's see if Leon's there. If not, if Leon doesn't appear, then Gary will probably pick it up. So, bye-bye, G0MJW.
Yeah, Matt, would you take it for another round? And by the way, I've gone out of focus to the background, just changed the camera a bit so that you can see what that looks like. And yeah, I just use one dish, 2.4 meter for both transmit and receive. I have a second dish for the narrow band, and I have a third dish just to do quality control on the signals going out. So anyway, these things pop up like mushrooms. So Matt, would you like to take another over, and then you pass it to Phil from ZA6 Yankee India?
Right. Okay, just check we've got audio. Yeah, there we go. Okay, excellent. Well, thanks everyone for the information. There's a lot to think about there, and it's nice to see everybody's set up as well. Martin, sorry, just looking at my notes. Martin's photos and install gave me some food for thought, especially about how to like maybe mount the amplifier remotely in a box. I do need to think about some kind of permanent installation rather than just to have it sprawled out on the conservatory. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I'm recording this, so I'll probably go back through the pictures and slow them down a bit. But yeah, it was interesting to see. So thanks for sharing those, Martin. No problem at all. No problem, Tom, on doing the videos on the Longmind. It's a great application. It's what I use for receiving. I've tried a few other after I built the mini tuner. I tried a few various different ways of receiving and software to control it, and I found that your software was by far the easiest to use and to more of a click and view. It just worked really well. And it's so fast as well, which I quite like. And all the processing and stuff is obviously done on the Pi. Ed, low elevation. Wow, it's kind of amazing to think that you know, your signal's coming all the way from Brazil. I think it's amazing that it is amazing technology with such a low angle radiation as well, elevation. I think it's great. So well done on that setup. It looks great. And Mike, with your 2.4 meter dish, yeah, I'd like one of those. Yeah, that looks good. And just to touch on the helix that you saw in the picture that I showed, helix for 13 centimeters. Did my video just crash? Hold on a second. Is that working okay? Don't know. For some reason or other, I lost video. No, everything seems to be working here. Hopefully you can still see me. So yeah, so that Wimo Helix was the Wimo Helix. I tried that on its own, actually, just one, and I found that the signal was extremely low down. I tried it on narrowband SSB, and also tried it on here on wideband as well, and that didn't. It was very, very low down. So I think you said try using 4. I think that's what you said. I might have misheard you, but I think you said try using 4 of them. But anyway, I quite like the look of it, so it's a shame that I don't really use it. But anyway, thanks everybody for letting me join the net today. It's been great to look at everybody's setup, to meet you guys as well. This is, like I said before, it's a whole new thing to me, ATV, and yeah, I've always had since QO-100. Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I think it is. It's tuned slightly down. But ever since QO-100 came out or was launched, I just had the major bug for it. I just, and I was experimenting with narrowband, and where I lived previously. I don't know if any of you have seen my old videos on my attempt at using QO-100 for at least for SSB. I lived right next to some woods, and the trees were literally in the way. I could transmit narrowband SSB, and I'd have to use the web SDR for receive. But since moving here last November, unfortunately my garden faces north and the satellite is south, so I have the dish right at the end of the garden, and there's just about enough clearance over the top of the house to receive the sat directly. But yeah, it's working well. So thanks again, everybody, and thanks for letting me join. So 73s to you all. I presume this would be the last round, and hopefully, if I can, I'll make it again next week. So thank you very much to everybody, and thank you, Gary, for hosting it as usual. It's great. I've been watching you guys for a few weeks since I built the mini tuner, so it's really nice to be able to come on and meet you. So I'll put it over to Phil M0PIT from M0DQW. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.
Thanks, Matt. Hoping the audio's okay. Should be. Yeah. Moved a bit nearer the microphone now. Mike, this here, it's just a mixer. I don't like using USB devices into anything that is being used for heavy processing like OBS, etc. I do all the audio via analog. I've got just a USB device down there that takes everything from the mixer and whacks it into whatever PC I want to put it into. But yeah, it's just an analog mixer. My potty, because of the problems I had with my dish on receive, I just couldn't get it aligned. It's an old dish. It's had quite a life, I think, and getting it aligned was an absolute utter nightmare. I've done as best as I can, but I realised it was still down on receive, so I went looking for a lens, and yeah, I could see some on the net that you could get that people had made. Tried to make one myself, totally failed, didn't work. But then I came across one of these. That's that camera there, isn't it? Which is a rocket. And on the end of a rocket, and it doesn't have it on here because I've taken it off, is a lens. And I think it's quite a nice lens. It's actually made up two parts. There's an inner lens and there's the outer part to it. And I think they're quite cheap. I don't think they're that expensive. But that lens has given me a good 1.5 dBs on receive. So I don't know about the rest of it, but the lens, as far as I was concerned, was brilliant. So that's the Red Eagle rocket. So that's that. My PA, which is in the garden, in this wooden shack, is being monitored via an Arduino. It's over Ethernet, and it basically, it's just a 19-inch rack piece of kit with a 16-odd amp switch mode power supply in it. But my Arduino monitors basically everything. It monitors the volts, the current, it monitors the RF power going out, and there's also a digital attenuator in there. So when I want to change the level, I don't do it here, I do it via my little web browser on here, which connects to the Arduino, so I can up and lower the power and turn it on, etc. I'm monitoring the temperature of the amp and the power supply, and I've also got a couple of extra auxiliary solid state relays that I can turn things off and on if I so wish. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. It's the biggest piece of software I've ever written. I'm not a software engineer, I'm a hardware engineer, but it took me quite a bit of time to do it, but it does actually work, and I'm quite pleased about that. What else? I can't think of much else, actually. I was going to do some pictures of my kit, etc., and might do a bit of video, put some video together of my recent trips, which I'm not going to explain what they were, but when you see them, I think you might understand where I've been for the last few months. But there we go. So right, I think I'm going to hand it back to you, Gary. I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody for welcoming me into the net. I hope to be here again, and yeah, I've quite enjoyed it. My new PA appears to be standing up to it. Temperature, I'm quite surprised because it's only just under 30 degrees, and it's been, yeah, I'm quite pleased about that. I thought it would be a lot hotter, but there we go. So I'm going to hand it back to you, then Gary. And this is M0 PIT going 73s.
Cool. Sorry for jumping in, but I'm late on a parade, so I must apologise, everybody. I'll try and do better, as they tell you in school. Well, they did a long time ago. And I'll also go over some of my equipment next time I'm on with the new guys. But for the new guys, I've only been on recently for the last week now. This is my second over, yeah. So I'll put it back and do apologise, Gary, for jumping in.
No problem at all, Brian. We were missing you. G6 HFB, is that right? I can't even read my own handwriting. HFS, there we go, G6 HFS. Hello, Brian. Nice to see you on. Excellent signal as usual. Nice to see you. And welcome. Pity you're a bit late, but who cares? At least you've made an appearance. That's all that counts. Okay, not much else to comment on this side. I just want to thank everyone for coming up on frequency today. It's been a nice net. Nice to see some old faces and, of course, the new faces, Phil, and, of course, Matt. Both of you putting through cracking signals, really. First class. Absolutely. So, welcome aboard, and we certainly hope to have you guys on more often, for sure. With that, I'm going to throw the ball in the air, close the net. Wish everyone a happy week. May it be a prosperous one as well. And of course, stay healthy. And we hopefully see each other next week. 7-3 all round. This is ZS6YI, now closing the DATV net. And hope to see you all next week. 7-3 all.